Hi, I'm Nicolette Shaw, and I'm going to talk to you about gender roles that I've experienced in my family, in my friend groups, at my work, and as well as in inside of my community and public events. Public event wise will probably be more related towards my work as well as school things, but we'll see. So starting out with gender roles in my family. Recently, my grandmother just passed away in August, and they lived in Houston. And so 2 days later, she passed away on a Thursday, and on Sunday, Hurricane Harvey hit, and their house got some water damage. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And so my grandfather has been having to deal with that. But my grandmother was an interior designer, and she was in charge of all of that. So he's been dragging his feet. Not that it's been like a financial issue or anything like that, but it's been very like that was Helen's job and that was Helen's aspect of the relationship, and she took care of all of this and she made the decisions. And so I think that's a very big gender role in my family. We're missing like the woman's touch, so to speak. We didn't really do Thanksgivings because the house hasn't been done, and my grandfather won't cook because that's what my grandmother did, and like she cooked all the meals and stuff like that. And so I think I mean, especially coming from the time that they did, or that they grew up in and stuff like that, that was her role. Like she was the woman. She took care of the house. Even though she worked, like she was an interior designer, which was very like the women take care of the house and the designing and all that stuff. She cooked. She cleaned. So it's been very different. Like the house is like kind of dungeony, and like there's no carpet because it's all been ripped up due to the flooding, and it's just very, very dark, and no woman's touch because maybe because my grandmother has passed. That's why. Um, Another way that's in my family. I guess you could say I'm a only child to a single mother. She's black female, so I feel like that's kind of a gender role in a way. A lot of the times it's the mom that ends up with the kids, and the mom that takes care of everything, and the mom that's in touch, whereas the dad is not. My dad has, so to speak, not been that involved. So I feel like that's a type of gender role. They're not very. I'm not to say that men aren't parental or anything like that, but I just feel like it's kind of easier for them to detach in a gender role aspect too. Also a familial type of thing. I'm a I'm the older cousin on both my first cousins and my second cousin side, where we're all grouped together, and so I'm very like maternal, and that also carries over into my friends. Like I'm very maternal in my friends, and I have mostly like girlfriends. Like that's our group, but I'm like the mom group, and I feel like that's a role in a way. Like I have been influenced by my grandmother, who was very like womanly caretaker type of person, um, as well as my mother, who's a single mother. So I feel like that has carried over into my friendships, and I was just very like, oh, let me take care of you type of person, which is a very big gender role. Um, Another one would probably be like relationship wise. I'm not currently in a relationship, but I feel like a big part of that is because I'm more conditioned to the guys approaching or making the first step, even though I'm very like woman power, like yes, feminist. I still feel like oh no, I want him to approach me first, just because I'm kind of guarded and I don't want to put myself out there if I'm not going to get the feelings reciprocated. Like this is not me, so I feel like that's another thing. Like I'm very like oh the guy makes the first step at least, and like he has to show interest in order for me to be like oh yeah I like you. So that's kind of a relationship thing. Another some gender roles to do with my work would be I work at a gymnastics center, and I am in the front office, and my manager, who's the front office manager, is a female. Um, Gymnastics is a both male and female sport, but I feel like the women definitely take a lot of that popularity in that sport. We do have guy coaches, but not as many female coaches. And a lot of times parents will be like, is it a male coach or a female coach? And I feel like kids, especially, and even some parents are more comfortable with female coaches because they're very nurturing and they seem more patient and they're not as intimidating as male. Um, and men just tend to be like the more stronger type, I guess. When you compare the female coaches to the owner, who is also a coach, he's just very aggressive and he's like, "Girls, you need to get this done. We gotta have a good attitude. No, no, this, that, and the other. Like, I don't want to see any frowny faces. Like, we're here to do work." Whereas the female coaches are very like understanding. They still want to push the girls, but they definitely want to have that relationship with the girls. I think another part of that is definitely like with all the sexual assault stuff going on in the world, and coming out. Gymnastics has definitely been a part of that. There's been a lot of it, especially with the Olympic team. Um, so I think that's a big part. Like the male coaches don't want to step over that line accidentally, just because it's their job, as well as these are girls that they care about. They want them to do well in the sport, so they try to keep that boundary there. But with my office manager, she's very much the caretaker, I like to say, of the owner. Like she's his flashlight, so to speak. Everything goes through her first. It comes through her. It's very like 1960s front desk receptionist type relationship with them. It sometimes gets under my skin because like it's your company. You should be, you should know this, but at the same time, he's a man. Like he's running his business, and I guess he just needs that step in between. So I think that's kind of gender role-ish in a way. Um, Social events wise, I did a debate in one of my communications classes, and we had one guy, and he was very lost. He always needed us to help him, and it was two girls and him, and it was just like we had to do all the work, and we were kind of over it and study answering the same questions over and over again, and that was a headache. So I think guys definitely, they either want to do all the work themselves as like a handiwork type of like strong macho thing, and then when it comes to like education and like things that aren't interesting, they want us to do it. But a flip side to that is that I did another communications class and we had to do a group project, and there were two guys and four girls, and one of the girls just didn't care. She was like, she sat down for most of our performances and just wasn't into it, which was different. There are lazy girls. Girls aren't just always like, oh, gotta get this done, let's go, the peppy type. It's different. So I think that was a flip of a gender role. Like the guys were very into it. They were constantly popping out ideas and stuff like that. So that was definitely different for me to experience. But yeah, gender roles. I feel like I haven't really experienced a lot of strong gender roles, but I know they're there. They're just underlying. I think growing up in with a single mother and also a very strong grandmother who overruled her husband most of the time, but still did those gender roles. It was just kind of normal. Like that's just my life. Um, so they don't really phase me that much. But when I do see something like women being oppressed or like wage differences and stuff like that, I'm like, But I think that's more of an equality than a gender role. But it should kind of be considered a gender role because like we have been put into this box of this is what a woman does, this is what her responsibilities are, and this is how much she should get paid for it. And I just think that's we're past that. So yeah, that's my take on gender roles in my life and community and job, and I hope that we continue to break those down, and as a society, as a community, and just individually as well. Thanks for watching.